And my name is Sophie Lazinski. I'm music education major, and I'm a part of HASA. And I just wanted to come and introduce our president, Dior Gibson, as she welcomes us in prayer.
Heaven go and we come before you today with grateful hearts and awakened spirits. We thank you for gathering us in this space, not just to eat, but to remember, to reflect, and to reconnect. Lord, today we honor the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a man who dares to dream beyond the limits of his time, who spoke truth to his timeless well Savior, and who chose love in the face of hate. God help us not to treat his dream as history, but as a responsibility. Not to follow his words once a year, but his actions to live out every day. Give us the courage to stand for justice when it is uncomfortable, strength to speak when voices are ignored, and humility to listen when we are called to learn. Lord, challenge us to be the bridge builders in divided spaces, light in dark moments, and love in a world that still wrestles with fear and equality. Let our hands do the work of peace, and let our lives reflect the dream of unity, equality, hope, and justice as it is a journey, and we need to keep moving forward. And your holy name we pray. And
Y'all give it up for Dior. Give it up. At this time, you have recording artists lift us up with this selection. Please show your love for Wisher, Barry, Safin.
You're broken down and tired of living life on merry-go-round, and you can find her, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out and move mountains. We gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up in spite of the ache, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. I'll rise up high like the wave, as I rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you. For you, for you, when the silence isn't quiet and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe, and I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet and move mountains. We'll take us to its feet and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, and I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, I'll do it 1,000 times again, and I'll rise up high like the waves, and I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, I'll do it 1,000 times again for you, for you. Look at somebody, and for that we have each other, and for that we have each other. Oh, we will rise, oh, we will rise, we'll rise, and I'll rise up high like the waves. I'll rise up, and in spite of the ache, I'll rise 1,000 times again.
I'll rise up. Before we break our great blessing, I want to just test knowledge. Some basic questions for you as it relates to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Some basic questions. This is for a $3 gift card, by the way. The basic question is, how old was Dr. King when he started college? How old was he when he started college? Yes, 15 is correct. This is your sister, Sophia. And okay, here we go. Which country did Dr. King visit to study non-violence? For all my scholars, I would expect I don't either at your but Dr. Bird, y'all. Not at all. Students, thank you. What country did Dr. King? You guys thinking? I'll give you a hint. Oh, yes. That is correct, yes.
Doing what?
These are easy. These are easy. Here's another one. You guys got this? How old was Dr. King when he received his Nobel Peace Prize? How old was Dr. King when he received his Nobel Peace Prize? This is also for a Toyota gift card. The $100 is coming shortly. Yes, that is correct. You got you. Oh, here we go. This is for 50. This is for 50. Then we're gonna move on. What civil rights organization did Dr. King help to found? What civil rights organization, a significant one in the movement? Now, if you're doing chat, I see it. Just let it go. They don't. I see, dog. He's coming. No. So if you just raise your hand, I'm saying no because you know who you are. Sorry. Somebody get out here. I'm just kidding. Anyone? Okay, I'll give you the acronym. SCLC. SCLC. Olivia's looking around. Look. Okay, D's looking around. Nope. Okay, no one. Dr. Bird, stop me. No. You can't know. Not you. Sam? Sam, just go ahead and look this one to this. Say it again, Sam.
The Southern Christian Leadership.
Okay, he said the Southern Leadership Christian, Dr. Kelly, he said something. In your class, we had answered. So what did you say about this diploma day? It is the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. It's okay. We'll come back. 75 Pacific. That's what I. Dr. Corey is an incisive and compassionate leader. I would dare to say he's an adventurous. I would also say he's dedicated to diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, and doesn't hesitate to illustrate that. Not just in his words, but in his actions. I could read all of his accomplishments. He did spearhead us going from Olivet College to the University of Olivet, which has been instrumental in revamping how we educate in this course. Please help me welcome Dr. Stephen Corey, our president.
Joshua can introduce me anytime. Anytime, all the times. Anyway, it's really my pleasure to be able to welcome you here today. It's great to see students, first and foremost, but also my colleagues, and so many guests. Thank you for coming to all of that and celebrating together with us. As we know, today we're gathering to honor the legacy of Dr. King. We do so with gratitude for his vision, his courage, his unwavering insistence that justice, dignity, equality are not abstract ideals, they're moral obligations. Dr. King reminded us that the arc of the moral universe bends towards justice, even when it doesn't seem like it does. But he was equally clear that it does not bend on its own. Progress is not automatic. It is the result of people, often ordinary people, choosing to act with integrity, persistence, and courage, even when doing so is uncomfortable or costly. We honor Dr. King today not simply because of the words he spoke, but because of the responsibility he placed on us. He challenged individuals, institutions, and society itself to examine whether our values are reflecting in our actions and whether our systems truly serve the dignity of all people. Those questions were not meant for a single moment in history. They're meant for every generation. They're meant for us. They're meant for you. And you. As a university community, we are uniquely positioned within that moral conversation. Higher education shapes not only careers, but conscience. Some people aren't fully yet. It forms habits of thinking, patterns of leadership, and expectations of responsibility. The work of justice is not separate from education. It is deeply connected to how we teach, how we lead, how we engage difference, and how we prepare students to participate in a complex and unequal world. Yet remembering Dr. King honestly also means acknowledging that the work he advanced remains unfinished. Inequity persists. Opportunity remains uneven. We are people who don't want us to acknowledge that. And the choices we face today are no less consequential than those faced in earlier parents. The form of the struggle may change, but the moral imperative remains the same. So as we gather today, sharing the meal, listening, reflecting, I invite us to move beyond commemoration alone. Dr. King's legacy ultimately confronts each of us with a question that cannot be answered in words or ceremonies. What will we do? What will we do? What will you do? What will you do? What will I do? What will I do? It's action-oriented. This question belongs to each of us and to the university community today, and I'm so pleased to be a part of that community. So thank you for being here, and I look forward to the rest of the quarter.
At this time, please welcome the University of Olivet Choir.
At peace his paths adore, I and raised it as I such I dream.
Recognized as an award-winning speaker and ranked amongst the top in the world by Toastmasters International. DeAndre has been instrumental in effectively developing motivation people that causes a response of action while naturally shifting paradigm and producing consistency and evolution change. He's the author of Demand Greatness. Please help me welcome Mr. Toastmaster himself, DeAndre Carter.
Good morning, beautiful people. I like people to talk back to me. This is gonna be all right. Today's theme is very simple yet very profound. Justice is a journey. And you're staring at a man who's on his own journey, just like each of you that's in this room. And in some ways, I gotta put this in here. It was a journey getting here from Lansing this morning. I'm not gonna lie to you. I slipped, I slid, then I found a snowplow truck, and I just rolled behind me up the journey. And the lesson is that it took me a little longer. I had to move at a pace that was not my own, but it was the best path to get to the place where I needed to be. That lesson wasn't in the message, but it's for somebody who's in front of you. That you may be in a rush, but you may be dashing to your own demise. Because you got to recognize when safety shows up, when support shows up, that is the place you need to be. We are not made to be independent completely, but interdependent, intermittent. I have to use all college words now, thanks. Because there are times where we need to walk in the lane of the support. Yeah. I saw the other lane. I saw other people zooming in the other lane. And there's a carbon me because I'm competitive. Right? I want to beat the time it took me to get to Olivet last time. Yeah. There was a part of me that wanted to jump in the other lane where it said, stay where the support is. Stay where the safety is. You don't have to be here for the whole drive, but just the next 10 minutes. And that's what I did. And that reminds me that on our own journeys, there will be lessons. And we got to make sure that we embrace them. We're honoring a man who I personally consider to be one of the greatest Americans, not just African Americans, one of the greatest Americans in the history of this time. Sergeant of Confederate, I love lists. I saw, I believe it was a History Channel. They did a list. They were talking about the greatest Americans, and it's all subjective. But among them were, George Washington, first president, kind of still there, right? Abraham Lincoln, he did some things that you may have heard about, right? But Martin Luther King was top 5 all time. And so I love the opportunity to not just recognize them, but learn from them. And my journey is somewhat connected to it because I was born January 14th. Anybody tell me what January 15th is? His actual, Dr. King's actual birthday. Very quick story. The doctor made eye contact with my mother in the delivery room while she was in labor. He said, ma'am, your son is going to be very special. Yeah, all right. Your son is going to be very special. And if you can hold out for 25 more minutes, he will be born on the same day as Dr. King. Now, I see a lot of women, I'm assuming their mothers, smiling at that thought because you might have said some of the words my mom said. If the FCC were here, they would have beat her out. All you need to know is that 1 minute later, I was born 11:36 p.m., 24 minutes before Dr. King, because it wasn't meant to be another day. So I always think of my journey as being connected with Dr. King, and I'm excited today because I want to share with you a few words that I believe will make a great difference. You guys know those commercials they show on TV, and there's medical products, and then they tell you all the side effects. Yeah. And you hear some of them. I don't know about you, but I really listened. I said, did he really say death? I was like, hey, you want to take to stay alive, but you might die. I mean, this is interesting. But I do want to, Josh, I got to give you a disclaimer for this speech. I cannot be held liable for the greatness that will be unleashed in the hearts of the people in this home based on the words that I share today. So to the audience, I say kindly, listen at your own risk. You just might go through this. The first word I'm going to share is, actually came to me this morning. I had a message prepared, but this morning I was shoveling snow. And then I look and I'm work because I'm done. But I was shoveling snow. And I heard this. We talked about justice being a journey. We want to keep moving. The best way to honor someone, I have to do this. Because on the journey I said to you, this is the first time, this is my first speech since my father has passed. My father had his journey, and his journey concluded with a wrestling match with cancer. They ended on January 11th, 3 days before my birthday. And so I stand here on a mission. I honor him with the work that I do. On Monday, we will be honoring him, and that's one of the things I'm going to share is that I will honor my father the rest of my days with the way that I live my life, the lessons that I've learned from him. But today, I still have to show up. Yeah, I love athletics, and sometimes the athletes, they show up and they play injured. They show up anyway. And the great ones never even mention their injuries. You just learn after the season, oh, so-and-so had a knee scope. He did all of that, and he never mentioned a word. So I share that because sometimes we got to show up anyway. And so as I was doing this morning, I was like, you got to, let your lifestyle, and then the word said, shut up and preach. That's my first lesson to you today. That when it comes to living the life that you want to live, sometimes you have to shut up and preach. See, some people talk, other people make statements. And there's a difference. Statements don't even require words. Statements require your presence. Statement requires your essence and your core. And so as I challenge you from this day forward, that when you show up in spaces where you get a chance to serve, when you show up in space when you get a chance to impact people, sometimes you need to learn to shut up and preach. Because sometimes in life, the best sermons don't even include words. I speak to a group in California. They do home health care. We meet via Zoom every Tuesday. And I thank them for their work because sometimes it's just in the eye contact. Sometimes it's just in the smile. Sometimes it's just in the hug. But you can make statements without even saying a word. The second thing I want you to do is understand capacity. Know thyself. Anybody ever heard that? Know thyself. It's one of the biggest keys to success. But a lot of times, like, know yourself how? I know my name is DeAndre, but what do you need to know about yourself? I'm challenging you. You need to know about the number one thing you need to know is capacity. What are you capable of? And are you maximizing that? Because everybody in this room, depending on the setting, depending on the situation, depending on what's needed, we all have a different level of capacity. I was complaining to a friend. I said, how come I'm the one that's always got to be a bigger person? He said, well, you're the oldest sibling. I was like, let's just glue them people. What about the rest of the people? How come I have the ability to see from other perspectives and say, well, that makes sense from this perspective, this makes sense from this perspective, maybe we can meet in the middle. Some people haven't even heard of the word middle. They just know their experience, their lane. And I said, how come I can see this? I was like, I don't want to do this. It's like, you can't change your capacities. I said, I didn't sign up to capacity. Where's the subscription? Can you unsubscribe? Yeah. But of course not. We got to do what you're born to be. We got to do what you're built to do. And many of you in this room, your greatest level of life Your greatest happiness, your greatest fulfillment is going to come when you step to your capacity at the highest level. I hear the word going around, people say, oh, that's my superpower. But what I found out is a lot of people that want superpower without having a villain. It don't work like that. What good are your superpowers if you just want to solve regular problems? What good is having superpowers if you're not ready for the problem that comes? And if you look at all the heroes and I know I'm using comic book, but if you look at their stories, there are always challenges, literally, for them to face. But the problem is not the challenge. The problem is not understanding capacity. And I love watching the origin story of each of them because they get to see that at one point they had a view of themselves that this mountain was too big for me. But once they understood their capacity, they said this mountain is a molehill that I'm about to step on. And that's what I'm challenging you and you today. Is find out what is your capacity, what is your superpower, and don't just get discouraged because you have villains. That's a part of the story. Don't get discouraged because you have adversity. Somebody was talking to me the other day. I said, look, I got a black belt. They said, I didn't know you know karate. I said, I don't know karate. I know adversity. And I got a black belt here. And so now when the problems show up, I feel like I'm a mix between Neo from the Matrix, Iron Man, Doctor Strange, little Captain America sprinting there. And if I need to, you bring out. And I watched scenes from these movies. I just watched this scene yesterday in the first Avengers movie when they were in the outer space, aliens are coming, and Cap was like, Bruce, he was looking at Banner, we could use you. Hope you can get angry. He said, Cap, that's my secret. Always angry. Instantly turned into the Hulk, punches this machine that's been chasing people around the city for 10 minutes. And Hulk stopped in 10 seconds. But I share that with you because you have to develop yourself. Understand your capacity to do what it is you're supposed to do on this journey. We're all on our own hero's journey. You ever heard of that? Google it. It's an amazing, insightful way that stories are being told. Here's a story in each of your lives, and you are the star. But the star don't mean we just put the spotlight on you and tell you how cute you are, how shiny your shoes are. The spotlight is for you to see your capacity and how to use it to help mankind, to make sure that this journey of justice and light keeps moving through your lane and your life. And the last thing I'd like to conclude, we talked about capacity. The last thing I'd like to conclude is service. The greatest experiences in your life are going to come through serving others. When I think of you want to have certain words attached to your name? When I think of my mentor, we are 30 years in the game. This guy, Josh Gillespie. I met him as a freshman at Michigan State University. And everything I've ever known about this man has been about service. He had us in a nursing home on Valentine's Day reading notes of love to the patients in the center, service. He had us in the homeless shelter, serving people who needed a meal that day. Service. He had us doing speeches about things we didn't even know about. For 60 seconds, he came up with this topic on the spot. Service. Guess who's the speaker now? So my question is not just when will you serve or who will you serve? And how quickly will you serve? Last word's power. Look at the word power. We all know it starts with a P. That's your purpose. We all know it ends with an R. That's the result we're trying to get. But we get lost in the middle. If you take away the P and you take away the R, can any of my spelling bee champions in the room tell me what word is left? Who do you owe it to be your best? Yourself and your loved ones. So when we talk about power, don't listen.
He's a specialist in social and political philosophy with an emphasis on the Frankfurt School, critical theory of religion, psychoanalytical political theory, as well as German, Russian, Islamic political thought. He's the founder and editor-in-chief of Equidosis Press. He also founded the nonprofit organization dialectical religion, which is dedicated to the study, preservation, and continual development of critical theory of religion and society. Please help me welcome Dr. Dustin Bird.
You know, Pete. So, thank you all for being here. President Corey, and the administration, fellow faculty, staff, students, my dear brother Joshua Gillespie, members of HASA, friends, brothers, and sisters. It's my honor to speak for you today about our dear Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the 20th century's most prophetic voice. Those of you who don't know me, I'm Dustin Bird, professor of philosophy and religion here at the University of Alabama. Got a few things to say today, as all philosophers do. Since Socrates in ancient Athens some 2,500 years ago, we've discussed the nature and definition of justice, but we have rarely ever come to a consensus. Lawyers and law scholars have numerous definitions. Philosophers like myself have numerous definitions. Activists in various struggles have their definitions. There is no universal consensus as to what justice is. However, we know it when we see it, and we know it when we don't see it. It's important today, on this day that we celebrate the life, legacy, and teaching of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., that we discuss Dr. King's understanding of justice and why it matters today in our zeitgeist. As you all know, Dr. King's words are widely cited in America today, oftentimes by those whose visions for America directly counter Dr. King's own vision for America. You've all seen it. We hear it all the time. His words are often decontextualized, misappropriated, distorted, co-opted, lending legitimacy to thoughts and ideologies he actively stood against. His speeches about equality have been used to justify inequality in education, in jobs, in government benefits, and even regarding a Supreme Court justice who happens to be a black woman, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. We live in an age of systematic misinformation and disinformation, wherein language and communication have become increasingly strategic, wherein communication abandons the search for truth in favor of political effectiveness. As young Dr. King stood on the side of the philosophers, on the side of the poets, on the side of the musicians and theologians, not the sophists and the politicians who use their knowledge of language as a tool of manipulation, as a tool to defraud, as a tool to con. As such, to see Dr. King's life, legacy, and teaching used to legitimate, justify, and sanctify injustice is a crime against his legacy we simply cannot abide by. Therefore, this new age of ignorance, of untruth and deception impels us to study more deeply what Dr. King meant when he spoke of justice. And remember, we must not fossilize his teaching, but rather we must breathe new life into them as they interrogate the hypocrisy and mendacity of the world as it is today. Brothers and sisters, I am too young to remember Dr. King. He was alive. I was born 8 years and 19 days after his assassination in Memphis, Tennessee on April 4, 1968. I'm already 11 years older than Dr. King when he was murdered in 1968. He was a young man of 39 years of age when he was murdered. The same age as Malcolm X when he was murdered. The same age as the German theologian Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who Dr. King studied in seminary
when he was murdered by the Nazis in 1945. Dr. King was 16 years old when that happened, already 1 year into his university education. At 16, 1 year in. We know a lot about Dr. King's murder. We know who pulled the trigger. We know who created the conditions for his murder. We know who wanted him dead. But why was Dr. King murdered? This is our question. Remember, J. Edgar Hoover's FBI called Dr. King, quote, the most dangerous and effective Negro leader in the country. Hoover's description of Dr. King spoke to the palpable fear that many fellow Americans felt about Dr. King's vision of a justice-filled country. That his vision for a justice-filled society could, should, and possibly would replace the unjust society that was normative at that time, and let's be honest, is still normative. A society where freedom, justice, and equality are for the few, not for all. As such, I would wager that Dr. King's vision of justice had everything to do with his assassination on that ugly morning in April of 1968. Here are a few ways in which Dr. King defined justice as abstracted from his speeches, his letters, and his books. In his letter from a Birmingham jail, Dr. King argued that justice is the presence of equality and dignity, fairness, and righteousness, not merely the absence of discrimination and unfairness. It is a state of being, not a state of absence, a state of non-being. A just society is not a society that has justice. It is a society that is justice. It is a society that embodies justice in all things it does in domestic policy and international policies. Dr. King argued that justice was universal and interconnected. It's a shared human birthright, and therefore someone else's struggle for justice is also our struggle for justice. As people of justice, we bear this burden as well. Keep that in mind when we see the struggles in Gaza, in Ukraine, in Iran, in Darfur, in Nigeria, let alone what's currently happening in Minneapolis and other American cities. Dr. King summed this up when he stated, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So if we want justice here, we have to have justice there. Their struggle is our struggle. Dr. King argued that justice is rooted in morality and conscience. He often echoed St. Augustine when he proclaimed that an unjust law is no law at all. But morality and legality are not synonymous. Law can be used towards the goal of injustice, as it often is, but ought not to be. Disobedience to immoral law is morality, and obedience to immoral law is immorality. Like his namesake, Martin Luther of the 16th century, one must follow one's own consciousness, and in the face of immorality and injustice, in the face of power, one has to say what Martin Luther said, "Here I stand, I can do no other, God help me." Dr. King reminded us that the pursuit of justice is action-oriented. It's what we call praxis, not just thought. It demands of us what Dr. King called tireless exertions, so that we do not become short-term freedom fighters, but rather we incorporate the fight for freedom and justice into what we are as individuals and as what we are as a collective. We live that struggle constitutionally, not just episodically. Dr. King said in his book, Stride Towards Freedom, quote, "Every step towards the goal of justice requires sacrifice, suffering, and struggle. The tireless exertions and passionate concern of dedicated individuals." Being of Christian faith, Dr. King reminds us that all struggles for justice had to be tied intimately with a deep and abiding sense to brotherly and sisterly love. He spoke often about agape in Greek. Not only must we love our family, our friends, our neighbors, we must love our enemies, as difficult as that is.
We cannot lose track of the humanity of those who dehumanize us. When Dylan Roof murdered 9 of our brothers and sisters in Brother Emmanuel African Methodist Church in Charleston, South Carolina, on June 17th, 2015, many family members of the dead forgave him. Some couldn't, some never will. But those who did knew that their faith demanded that of them, to not lose track of the humanity of those who dehumanized them and brought about the deaths of their beloved mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, and their pastor. As Dr. King knew, it is agape that stops us from descending to the level of those who hate. Only love can lift them out of hate. As Dr. King said, darkness cannot put out darkness. Only light can do that. For Dr. King, justice meant the overcoming of evils of the trifecta: racism, economic exploitation, and militarism. America's sins were and are many, rooted deeply in its ugly history. In order for America to embody its creed of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, freedom, justice, and equality for all, racism, economic exploitation, and militarism had and still has to be dismantled. We can never find ourselves as a people, a single American people, rich in diversity, until we overcome our sins of racism, our sins of exploitation, and our sins of violence. Dr. King taught us to give, not to give up on America, despite its numerous nightmarish episodes. For justice doesn't matter in America if you've given up on America. I understand how easy it is to become cynical, to become pessimistic, and just give up. I'm a philosopher, as all I do is look at problems. But Dr. King provides us an example of what it means to not be optimistic, but still be a prisoner of hope. As the book of Zechariah describes, those who endure hardship and injustice, but indeed remain steadfast in their faith. It is because we hold on to the promise of America that we fight for justice for Americans of all stripes. Our critique of America comes out of our patriotic lovers' quarrel with America, not our hatred. We want the best for her and her people, not the worst. We want justice for America, not injustice for Americans, as Dr. King taught us. Lastly, brothers and sisters, as a philosopher, I'm always interested in who great figures such as Dr. King studied in their past. While doing his graduate work at Boston University School of Theology, Dr. King studied the great German idealist philosopher Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel. And from Hegel, he found 2 profound ideas that concorded with his Christian faith. Growth comes from struggle. It would be nice to have ataraxia, stillness, quiet in our lives our whole life, but we would never grow. Growth comes from struggling. And number 2, that through the cunning of reason and history, one can witness the working out of God's divine providence. That history, despite its frequent setbacks, is in the process of unfolding along the given trajectory. In the most Hegelian way, Dr. King said, quote, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice." He doesn't say sometimes it bends towards justice. He says it bends towards justice without any qualifiers. So despite the setback, the many setbacks, despite the ugliness we see in the world today, despite the counterattacks on justice, justice will ultimately prevail, if not in this world, but maybe in the next. Yet, history doesn't work itself out, get lost on our couches. Suits. Yeah, get off the couch. The prophetic values, principles, and ideals that King spoke about must be in the streets. They must be in the classrooms. They must be in the churches, the mosques, synagogues, the temples. They must be in the family, and they must be in the houses of government. They must be who we are, not just what we talk about or say we believe in. Dr. King saw justice as a divine force working its way through history. The question for us today is, will we have the moral courage to be the midwives of justice? Or will we just let the promise of America be stillborn? As Dr. King said, now is the time to make justice a reality for all God's children. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bird. Once again, at this time, Quisha Bear and Spin. And then after her will be our final speaker.
Sit.
One. I'm so uplifted after that. Both every speaker just encouraging. So I'm excited to be here. It's election. Before I go into you can bow softly. I want to tell you quickly just about my story of resilience and how I am moving forward in my journey. And so about a year and a half ago, I had a stroke, which left me unable to speak, sitting, walk, talk, or anything. Now, this is my second stroke within 4 years of one another. When I went to the hospital, really quickly, we'll make it really short, they tried to send me home. I went on Thanksgiving. The nurses, they put me back. They said, oh my goodness, my face was distorted, contorted. I was not able to talk, walk, anything. I was slurring my speech. They could not understand me. My aphasia I was having had clots on my brain. I constantly stroke. And one doctor said, we see the stroke. The other one was like, maybe it's a stroke. We need to do more testing. Anyway, they tried to send me home. And then I had one nurse that advocated for me. One nurse said, do you not see this girl? So she went to a higher up and she got someone else to get a second look. And they found out that I was having stroke in 2 different places of my brain when they looked. If it had not been for her advocating for me, I would not be standing before you. And now in my journey to move forward, I'm getting my health together. Like you said, it's a journey. I was moving, I was traveling, I was all over the country, singing and ministering. And I thought, oh my goodness, this is my time. This is my time. But like our dear brother said, everybody's journey looks different. And I was upset when I had this struggle that everybody was moving faster than me. Everybody was traveling. Everybody was singing. I was supposed to go back to Europe, and other people got to go to Europe and nine. And I struggled. And I have 5 children. And I struggled and I struggled. And now I am doing it better than I ever have. We're 30 pounds down. I'm on the road to getting weight loss surgery. My health has been good. I'm in counseling and therapy. So much stuff happened. And you'll hear in the song another part of my testimony that I'm about to say for you today. But I just want to encourage you to keep going. And if you see injustice acting, you speak up for somebody. Don't sit there quiet. Because being quiet makes you out of the problem. Speaking up for someone else helps with it. It help you be a part of a solution. So without further ado, I'll sing you a song for you. Sorry. Song says, you don't know my story or the things that I've been through. You can't feel my pain. What I had to go through just to get here. And you'll never understand my praise. So don't try to figure me out. Just know my worship is for real. Just know my worship is for real. Now I'm gonna let y'all get all of my business. This is the second verse. This is, I was battered and abused. Those are some things that I've been through. I was blessed and endless use. That's what I had to endure to get here. That's why you'll never understand my grace. So don't try to figure me out. Just know my worship is for real. Just know my worship is for real. The song says, 'cause I've been through too much not to worship Him. I've been through too much not to worship Him. I've been through too much not to worship Him. I've been through too much, yeah, to worship Him. I've been through too much, yeah, not to worship Him. Worship Him with my life. I've been through too much, yeah, not to worship Him. Can you repeat after me? Let's make one big choir. Say hallelujah, hallelujah. My worship is for real. There you go. Say hallelujah, hallelujah. My worship is for real. You got it. Say, Lord, I love you. Lord, I love you. My worship is for real. Yeah, yes. Say, Lord, I love you. Lord, I love you. My worship is real. Yeah, yeah. Say, you're so worthy. Can we worship Him? You're so worthy. My worship is real. Say, you're so worthy. You're so worthy. My worship is real. Can you help me sing? Sing, yeah. Yes, my worship is real. Yes, sing yes. Yeah, my worship is for real. It could have been another way. Say yes, 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 yes. Because my worship is for real. My worship is for real. I've been through so much. My worship. Can we make the church in here? I know it's a. Can we just have a little church? It's for real, y'all. Came up and tell your story. My worship is for real. All the abuse I went through, and my worship is for real. Thanks so much.
Je vais cesser bien pour la consultation, inclusion, and community engagement. Dr. Bailey leads the school's efforts in diversity, equity, and inclusion. Her professional background consists of more than 25 years in education. Prior to arriving at Open University, William Beaumont, she held various leadership roles, including Chief Diversity Officer at Lansing Community College, Director of Student Success at Michigan State University, and Director of College Level and Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Programming at the University of Michigan. And I need that joke, Michigan State University. You saw her. She's a native of Flint, Michigan. My graduate of Evansville, Indiana, with her Bachelor of Science degree in Mass Communication, to her Master's degree in Public Administration at the University of Michigan, Rocket Graduate School in Ann Arbor, and completed her doctorate in Educational Leadership at Central Michigan University. Please help me welcome the dynamic Dr. Tanya Payne.
Wow. Woo! I'm still in my worship is for real. I'm so sorry. I am just like, oh my goodness. Ooh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good afternoon, Olivet. Oh, y'all too quiet on MLK celebration today. Good afternoon, Olivet. There we go. I honestly give honor to this amazing president. I follow you. I'm thankful that you are one of those leaders that have not backed down. You continue to press forward. And so would you all help me celebrate your May the Day president of this fine university? Thank you so much. We're gonna figure out how I'm gonna get here. Okay, we'll figure that out. And also to my boy, my guy, this is Josh. I can't say no. He just sends me dates and tells me where to be. And then here I appear. Will you please celebrate Mr. Gillespie for all of the work that he does? And he curates some of the best music. Will y'all please help me honor the musicianship today? And trying to sing you the Charter Flynn. We'll talk about it. And then last but definitely not least, almost to the baddest man on the planet. With all my heart, I love Lee Bailey. Stay right here and we'll see my loves. Will a holy baby never leave? Cause baby, I believe in this love. Come on, everybody. Sweet love. Hear me call out your name. I feel no shame. I'm in love. He drove me all the way there. Sweet love. Oh, you never go away. It'll always be this way. 30 years. We've been there for 30 years, y'all. Come on. Celebrate song. Come on. I kept telling him all the way, you were driving me, think you were driving me. He was like, you go get in trouble, but I love you. Thank you so much. And obviously to the students of Olivet that have stayed, you all are here. I love this place. I was here in June and July, of all of July, and I'm thankful to be back again. So without holding you up, because I know how lunch coma sets in. Yeah, me and the professor was having that discussion. I was like, when you get up there, your cookie gonna be gone when you get back. but I saved it for him. And to my beautiful colleague, Dr. Linda, I love you. Thank you so much for being who you are. I have about 50 pages of notes, so here we go. Just kidding. Today's topic is on justice is a journey. Keep moving forward, right? And to those that have spoken before me, OMG, you cleared a great path for me, so I don't have that much to say but this. Dr. Martin Luther King once said, human progress never rolls on the heels of inevitability. It comes through the tireless efforts of people willing to be co-workers in shaping history. That line tells us something essential about justice, because justice, as the professor shared today, does not happen by accident. It does not arrive simply because time has passed, and it does not move forward on its own. Too often we talk about justice as it's this inevitable progress that might lead to something someday if we just hope for it. But history teaches us otherwise. Justice has never been an automatic, it's always been activated. Somebody say clock it, activated. You'll get that if you're on TikTok. If not, follow me, I'll help you. It moves when people decide to move. There was a great group that I used to follow a lot that said, when you move, I move. Oh, y'all know it? Okay, just like that. Thanks, man. It advances when individuals and institutions choose courage over comfort. And it survives only when each generation understands that progress is not inherited, it is earned. That is why today's theme, justice is a journey, keep moving forward, matters so deeply. For justice is not a destination. No, it's not. It's not a destination that we eventually reach. But justice is something you must continually choose. So before I go into everything I'm going to say today, I want to show you what justice looks like. Now, unbeknownst to some of you, I've had some great support system that I just met today. I don't even know their name, but I believe they're part of your family. So I wanted tea, girlfriend got me tea. My plate need to be removed, baby girl got my plate removed. So I'm going to ask the two of them to come with me. Yeah, come on. And celebrate. Come on, they came all the way from Illinois. Come on, I need both of you. I need two of you. And then grab that blanket from my husband, yes. Mm-hmm. See, I believe in reaching up as you climb, right? You reach it back, okay? So will you all just kind of open that blanket while I talk? Just open and then spread it out so they can see what justice looks like. President, I present to you this quote, this quilt by my grandmother. Her name is Queenie Calloway. She grew up in Jackson, Mississippi. She made this quilt actually for Dr. King. She made several of them. But before this quilt could get delivered, he was murdered. This was not for museums and it's not necessarily just for display, but I am offering it for some of you today as a sense of skill, as a sense of hope, as a sense of belief. Because my grandmother wasn't famous. Nobody knows Queenie, right? But I know Queenie. She didn't march in the front lines, but she created lemonade stands for when the marchers came by. They had something to drink. She didn't have a microphone or a podium, but she did have her hands. And in her time, she used what she had in order to move justice forward. See, every stitch in this quilt was a stitching for justice into every part of the fabric. She used this material, what was left over from her 14 children, to decide what we could use to keep a dream alive, to keep a leader motivated. In Black history, quotes were a consideration of just warmth in a world that denied comfort. It was considered a map when freedom required navigation. It was a testimony when voices were silent. And quilts were carriers of stories when history refused to write us in them. In every stitch, it represents justice. In every square, it represents intentionality. And every thread represents endurance. A quote is one thing, but a quilt is not something that you make quickly. It's something that's made faithfully. And that is why I'm going to pass this quilt around as I talk, because as this gets passed around, I want you to take a moment and touch history and touch how justice actually moves. It moves by us putting our hands to it and deciding it will move forward. So, well, my beautiful sisters, did y'all get that picture? Did y'all get this? I'm about to say, Queenie, where you get?
You got it? Okay, perfect. Okay, so go over, wrap that up nicely. And I want every person in this room to take a moment. When that quilt gets to you, just lay your hands on it. It has traveled all the way from Mississippi. It has even went over into Europe. When I was doing my undergraduate, I took this quilt with me. It has came back to Georgia. It has went to Tennessee. It has went to Atlanta. It has went to various parts of the country. And now it is here in this room with you on purpose. Somebody say, that's how justice is passed. So as we gather today, I want us to not just remember a man, remember an icon, but I want us to commit ourselves to a movement, not to memorialize justice, but to mobilize it. Dr. King reminded us that that arc of moral universe is long, but history teaches us sometimes it's just as important to make sure you're part of the bend. Because the arc doesn't bend on its own. It bends because ordinary people decide to keep moving the needle forward. It bends because in this journey, it's hard, it's also sometimes slow, and it's definitely unfinished business, but it is our lot that justice is not a destination, it is a true journey that we must walk and move on. Justice is not just a movement, it's a moment, it's a movement. It is a time that we have to understand that it's not like quick, fast, an event of a court ruling. It's not like a quick policy change. It's not even a powerful speech. But justice does not live in moments alone. It lives in movements. Somebody say movements. The civil rights movement was not a straight line. It was progress and then backlash. It was progress and then heartaches. It was breakthroughs and then barriers. It was hope and then heartbreak. And yet people kept moving. Justice requires endurance. Listen, I want them to hold it. I want them to feel it. Don't let them just tap. But turn around, touch Queen. That's it, brother. Touch Queen's blanket. Touch to feel justice. That's it. And yeah, lay on justice. Rub on justice. And then when it's ready, then you pass it on to the next. Why is that important? Because justice requires endurance. My grandmother didn't make that in a day. When I asked my mother how long did it take Grandma to make these quilts for Dr. King, she said sometimes it took her about 6 months. Sometimes it took her about a year because she waited for the right fabric and then the right finances to go to the general store in order to purchase, or even the leftover items that some of the people that she worked for was just willing to give her. Justice does not happen overnight, but when we move it, before long we'll see that progress has made its mark in the world. Like a quilt, justice is made stitch by stitch. Decision by decision, generation by generation. There are sessions and seasons of justice when it sometimes feels like a closed door, and seasons when it feels painful or even far away. Dr. King knew of these seasons very well. He faced imprisonment, we know this. He faced threats and isolation and exhaustion, and still he organized. He wrote, he spoke, and then he hoped. Why? Because justice is not sustained by comfort. I'm going to say that again. Justice is not sustained by comfort. It's not when you feel like it. It's when you drive 2.5 hours just to be somewhere, to hear somewhere, to be a support to somebody, to say, this matters. Justice also sings. It sings songs like, I just can't deal now. Come too far from where I started from. See, nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe he's brought me this far to leave me. Somebody say, justice sings, justice sings. Y'all bad. Thomas Show going with, oh, something there. Courage looks like speaking when silence feels safer. Courage looks like listening when it disrupts what we think we know. Courage looks like standing firm when systems push back. Justice doesn't just ask, do you care? It asks, will you stay? Will you stay in the fight when others have cowered and backed down? I placed or had Dr. Linda place some rubber bands on your table. Will you grab one just for you? It's a gift. You're welcome. Everybody got one? Here's what I'd like for you to do. And if you don't have one, please raise your hand so we can make sure you have a rubber band. Now, some of you will call it a hair tie, twisty tie. Today, fellas, today, it's a rubber band. It's a rubber band, number one, because the dollar store didn't have the extra rubber bands. Transparent. But then I thought, well, that's just the thing, because some people are allergic to latex, so here we have it. It's a rubber band. Say it's a rubber band. I want you to take that rubber band and just hold it in your hand. Just hold it for a moment. This is the ark at rest. This is justice and rest. Now take that rubber band and put it around your finger and just kind of swirl it around, and you recognize, yeah, there your president got it. He's got it. He's a professional at this. I don't want you to stretch it yet. I don't want you to apply pressure. I just want you to observe it. Take a look at it. This is the art without effort. This is what justice looks like when we assume progress will happen on its own. If you laid it back down on the table and say, now move, it won't. If you laid it on your lap and said, here we go, I got justice, it's still not doing anything. Repeat after me, nothing moves, nothing changes, nothing bends until you do. Because that's what justice looks like. Now, when you have that rubber band, now I want you to do what you've really been dying to do, and that is stretch it. Don't you pop nobody. Don't do it. Don't be like some of my kids. Don't do it. But slowly begin to stretch it. Not hard, but just enough to feel resistance. That resistance that you feel, that tension, that is the reality of justice work. Dr. King told us that the arc of the moral universe bends toward justice. But what he understood, what history confirmed, is that the arc bends because tension is applied. Justice does not bend through comfort, it bends through pressure. Keep on stretching it. Come on, don't stop. Keep stretching it. It pushes back, right? The resistance is oftentimes what institutions do. It's oftentimes what our systems do, or what injustice does when it's challenged, it pushes back. But here's the truth. If there is no tension, there is no movement. If there is no resistance, there is no bending. And if there is no courage, there is no change. Keep stretching anyway. Stretch those conversations with those who rather not have the conversation. Stretch that policy with those that seem to be like, this is excluding me, but no, we are including you. Stretch your thinking by talking to folks that don't look like you, didn't get raised like you, didn't come up like you. Stretch your mind to believe that, yes, I will graduate from Olivet University, and yes, I will make a difference before graduation day, and yes, this is still my year of acceleration. Somebody say, I got to stretch. Look around the room as everybody holds up their rubber band in the air. Every single person. Did the musicians not get you on? What? Don't leave out the band. Every single person humming up this rubber band. You got it, my bro? All right. Everyone holding up their rubber band. No one is bending the arc alone. No one carries the tension alone. No one person does all the work. Justice moves when many hands apply steady pressure together. Now take that band and just swap it with somebody else. It's still the same band. Don't get jealous. It's still the same band. But I just want you to do that because I want you to experience what others have stretched. What others have said that they would do. How others have had it in their head. Now they're passing it on to you to continue the stretch. Not pulling too hard, not pulling too fast, but making sure that I'm not burned out in my justice journey. Making sure that I have sustainable activism. Making sure that what happens for me also has to happen for you with urgency, without recklessness. But if you release all that tension entirely, the band returns back right to its original shape. Because that's what complacency looks like. That's what silence looks like. That's what happens when you stop pushing and stretching together. So let me leave you with these few words. The urgency of now can't get any louder. To be honest, in this moment, the normalization of dehumanization is not waiting. Economic inequality is not waiting. Human rights erosion is not waiting, so neither can we. This is not a moment for neutrality. This is not a time to retreat. This is the hour when truth must be louder than fear. I want you to rise to your feet with me. Oh yes, the stretch. The gift that I've given you with this rubber band, I want you to wear it. I want you to see if you can wear it for the rest of the year. I know, it's a stretch. But come on, bro. It's a stretch. That'll work. But what I've learned is, oftentimes, when we do stretch justice, it causes us to have a better aim. It might feel resistant, like it might look as if it's never going to happen. But while I'm stretching and while I'm feeling this resistance, I'm also aiming. I'm aiming for a better day. I'm aiming for a better hope. I'm aiming for a better future. I'm aiming and posturing myself to say, I can be part of the movement and not stand still. So I want you to repeat after me, just a little, call and response. You got that? When I say justice is a journey, I want you to respond, and we are moving forward. You got that? Justice is a journey. This side is doing really good over here, choir. Altos, sopranos, a little loud, emote. Justice is a journey. We are moving forward with education and access for all. Justice is a journey. We are going to use our rights and our privilege to vote and to make sure we vote and put the right people in office. Justice is a journey. We're going to make sure that we reach on both sides of the aisle and lift as we climb, because justice is a journey. We're not going to take these rubber bands off until we are told to. Because it's going to remind us of the stretch, of the resistance, but more importantly, that I am in it to win it, because justice is a journey. We are moving forward. Before I leave this space, I want us to take one last instruction and do this together. When we talk about justice being a journey, it also means that we have to take some intentional steps. So if you believe that justice is moving forward, take one step forward. If you are committed to moving, now some of you may have to move around the table. Work with your sister here. Come on, work with me. If you are committed to making sure that diversity, equity, and inclusion matters for all, take a step forward. If you are committed to making sure that not one person gets discriminated against on your watch that you see and you will say something, take a step forward. If you are committed to supporting those that support you and those that deserve that support, like Brother Joshua, take a step forward. And all of the steps that you've taken, I want you to notice that nobody ran, because justice is step by step by step. Just like my grandmother's quilt was stitched by stitch by stitch. I want you to be encouraged that your next steps this year is going to be purposeful. And it's going to cause there to be a nationwide movement, because you are on a journey with justice. Thank you.
This concludes our program. LaQuisha will sing us out. But thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for staying. We appreciate you so much. Have an amazing day. Feel free to take what's on the table if you like. We're taking you food. Feel free to do that as well. Comments cupboard will open at 1:30. We appreciate all of you being here.